So first, in gene interaction, it comes under the extension to the Mendelian genetics. Okay, because it doesn't follow the Mendelian genetics approach. Because Mendelian genetics approach explain one gene represent one character. But here we will discuss two different genes can also act together to modify a single phenotype, or, and that we call the additive gene action. Complementation approach, epistasis, and redundancy. So, in multifactorial inheritance, what is the meaning of multifactorial inheritance? Multifactorial inheritance means the effect of multiple factor in the inheritance pattern. Vast majority of the traits are determined by multiple factors. Very little traits in among us is actually followed by the Mendelian rule. Vast of the majority is actually determined by several factors. That factors include genetic pattern as well as environmental factors. So, gene interaction between two or more gene. Example, lentil seed. We will see the example of it within the detail checker box and explanation. So here in gene interaction, F1 progeny carries a single phenotype, but in case of the F2 progeny, four different phenotypes are observed. In F2, phenotypic ratio is also followed 9:3:3:1, and in some cases that may also differ. What is the differences with Mendel? In original cases, two independent trait or equal to two independent gene. But in Mendel cases, two in, but in these particular cases, multiple phenotypes, that is the of one trait, multiple phenotype of one trait is equal to two independent genes. So let's move to the experimental checker box part. Here, two genes, one phenotype represents A and B. Both of the gene are actually control the seed coat color of lentil. When a brown, a brown, when a tan gene code, this is a tan gene code color, is crossed with the gray. Tan means capital A, small b, and gray is small a, capital B, capital B. It follows capital A, the gamete which is produced from this tan is gamete, a capital A, small b, and gamete producing from gray is small a, capital B. So here the first F1 progeny are all identical, that is the brown in color. They are all brown, they are all heterozygous. So self-cross between this brown progeny will produce four different kind of colors. So if we look at the color, we will see that different genotype. Okay, so we can tell that genotype variation is caused by more than one gene because there are four phenotypes, not three in F2. We are getting four different phenotypes in F2. One gene, F2 would have three phenotypes, that is 1:2:1 ratio. So what we have get from here? First we discuss this part. What are the different genotypic classes? We get brown color seed coat. In case of brown, we have observed that this section is actually brown color seed coat. Each and every seed or of this particular panel having A and B both in dominant condition. One of the, all these are diploid organisms. So one of the gene or one of the allele of A and B must have in its diploid state or must have in its dominant state. Fine. In case of tan, capital A is always in its dominant condition and B always in its recessive condition. So here in this particular case, capital A, small b, capital A is a dominant condition, B is a recessive condition. Here also capital A, capital B, one capital A is in a dominant condition. Here also capital A, capital small b, one capital A is in a dominant condition. In case of gray, B is in a dominant condition. So check this thing, this one, B is in a homozygous dominant condition, A is in a homozygous recessive condition. And this in these two, A is in a homozygous recessive condition, but B is in a heterozygous dominant condition. A heterozygous dominant condition. So in case of green, both of the gene is in a recessive condition. Both of the gene is in a recessive condition. So we get a typical dominant relationship from here. Tan is dominant to green. Of course, this tan is dominant to green. Tan is dominant to green because tan have only one A and one A dominant. Gray is dominant to green. Of course, gray is also dominant to green because gray have B in dominant. Brown is dominant to gray, green, and tan. Brown, these browns are dominant over the gray, green, and tan because brown have A and B in a dominant condition, either in a homozygous or in a heterozygous condition. Tan and gray are incompletely dominant, giving rise to brown. So brown is actually an intermediate phenotype, and that is because of the presence of the both of the gene in a dominant condition. So this is called and now we study the complementary gene action. Each genotype class may not always dictate a unique phenotype. A pair of genes can often work together to create a specific phenotype. We call this complementary interaction. With this type of interaction, we see two different phenotypes instead of four seen in two gene in and one phenotype. When two genes control one phenotype, here we will get two different phenotypes instead of four. Here also we get four different phenotypes, but in complementary gene action, we get two different phenotypes instead of four when two genes control one phenotype. And this is called the complementary gene action. Two or more genotypic classes may display an identical phenotype. They displaying an identical phenotype. Example, two line of pure breeding white flower pea plants falling into different genotypic classes, capital A, small b, capital A, small b, and small a, capital B, capital B. The must have a dominant allele in both genes to result in the purple flower phenotype. We will see here what is a complementary gene action. Here, in both of these cases, capital A, small b, small a, capital B, these all are in a homozygous condition. Both pair of genes are present in a homozygous condition. So capital A, or small b, until and unless one of the dominant gene is present for both of these genes, the characteristic is the white. Characteristic is the white flower. So, in what gamete is going to produce from capital A, small b, capital A, small b, and here small a, capital B. And when these two gamete combine in a F1 progeny, they will produce all identical purple flower. Why they are purple? Because in both of these cases, A and B both have one dominant copy of gene in this flower genotype. So when F2 genotype form, we are able to get two phenotypic character instead of four in our previous process like this one. But here we get only two genotype, that is one is this and another is this. In this particular purple panel, in each and every purple character, we will get one A and one B in a dominant condition. There may be both A and B in a dominant condition, like the first one. This one here, A and B are both in a dominant condition, but in rest of the cases, either A or B, one of the A and B are in a dominant condition, and in these white panels, either A or B, one of the gene lacks its dominant allele, and whenever it lacks a dominant allele, it produces a white gene color. That is why we get a ratio of 9:7. Here, 9:7. So, what is the reason behind it? Reason behind it is this: colorless precursor in case of allele A, pigment change catalyzed colorless produce colorless precursor 2, and in presence of allele B, that again this colorless precursor is going to form a purple pigment. So until and unless both of the gene is able to exert its effect on the precursors, they cannot form the color pigment. That is why both of the gene action is necessary. That is why we call it a complementary gene action. A and B gene are complementary with each other. Now we come to the term epistasis. Epistasis is when one gene marks the phenotype of the other gene. So four genotypic classes produce fewer than four phenotypes. Different type of epistasis are there. We can divide it into dominant epistasis or recessive epistasis. When recessive allele of one gene marks the effect of either allele of the second gene, we call it a recessive epistasis. When a recessive gene or the recessive gene is present in a homozygous condition, it can able to mark the effect of the other gene. In case of dominant epistasis, when the dominant allele of one gene marks the effect of either allele of the second gene, we call it a dominant epistasis. So first we start with the example of recessive epistasis. Example 1, coat color of Labrador Retriever, and example 2 is the ABO blood group, that is a Bombay phenotype. In each and every cases, phenotypic ratios are this 9:3:4. So let's look into our first example, that is the cross between the golden and a black retriever will always produce a black phenotype in F1 generation. Now, in case of recessive epistasis, a recessive mutation in one gene marks the phenotypic effect of the another. It appears like incomplete dominant because some of the progeny look like neither parent, but the ratio is wrong. So in this case, F2 progeny will get a ratio of this 9:3:4 instead of 9:3:3:1. This 3:1 is combined with each other and form the number 4. This is we get here. So in this dihybrid cross, what we actually get black Labrador in each and every cases when either of the gene, when both of the gene having one copy of dominant allele, we always get black. In case of brown, when B is in a recessive condition, that means a homozygous recessive condition, we get the brown color. But when B is in a dominant condition, we get the golden color. So we get the golden color if B is in a dominant condition or B is in a completely homozygous recessive, as well as E is also completely homozygous recessive. Is also we get the golden color. So what is the molecular explanation behind this? The molecular explanation is when this is the two gene product. A is this and B is this. For having the color of black, both of the gene products are necessary. That is why both of the gene products of having black and having either A or B in a dominant condition, sorry, both A and B in a dominant condition, they produce a black genotype. When B is in a recessive condition, it will not produce. But gene E can produce the brown phenotype when gene E is in a dominant condition. Just see, in this case, gene E, when gene E is in a dominant condition, it produces the brown phenotype. But in this case, in this golden case, when both of them are in a recessive condition, they will not produce any pigment, so Labrador will be golden. But when A is dominant but B is not, like in this case, sorry, when B is dominant but E is not, so B is producing the precursor, but that precursor will not convert into the final black product or final product. That is why we get a golden retriever in this case also, where gene B is in a recessive, sorry, dominant condition and gene E in a recessive condition. So, in a summary, two genes involved in a coat color determination. Gene B determine whether black or brown pigment is produced. Gene E determine if the pigment is deposited in the hair. If pigment is not deposited in the hair, they are not able to show any kind of colors. If pigment is not deposited in the hair, they will produce the golden character. So GE determines if pigment is deposited in the hair and whether the pigment is black pigment or brown pigment is formed, that is determined by the gene B. That is why in this particular case, gene pigment is formed, but that pigment is not deposited in the hair. But in this case, pigment is brown pigment is formed, but that pigment is brown pigment is not converted into the black one, but that pigment is actually able to settle in the hair. That is why they are producing the brown phenotype. But in this case, pigment is formed, and that is also deposited in the hair. Now, the recessive allele is epistatic to other gene when homozygous, hence name recessive epistasis. Phenotype do not segregate according to the Mendelian ratios. Now, in case of epistasis, the differential phenotypic expression of a genotype at one locus caused by the genotype at another non-allelic locus, a mutation that exerts its expression by cancelling the expression of the allele of another gene. Now we come to the dominant epistasis that caused by the dominant allele of one gene masking the action of either allele of the other gene. The ratio is 12 is to 3 is to 1 instead of this. So so this particular 9 is to 3 is combined with each other and produce 12. So the example is a summer squash. Let's see the example. When A and B both are dominant, it produces the white phenotype. When both are recessive, it produces the green phenotype. And in case of in case of the identical, in case of the F1 generation, it produces both white character because in presence of dominant A, B is not able to express, though B have its dominant gene here. Now, what happens to the other? In case of A dominant B, in this particular panel, A dominant B, and here also B is dominant. So whenever B is dominant, they are able to produce a white phenotype. But when VB is not dominant, B is recessive, they are producing an yellow phenotype. They are producing a yellow phenotype. And when both A and B are recessive, they are producing a green phenotype. So we are getting a ratio of 12 is to 3 is to 1. Fine. So now we come to the redundancy. That is the duplicate gene and inhibitory genes concept. So in this particular case, petal color of Snapdragon in Mendel had used Snapdragon for his experiment, but he would not able to succeed in this particular experiment of Snapdragon. Why he is not able to succeed? Because in case of A, capital A, capital S, capital B, the flower color is red. But in case of both of the homozygous recessive condition, the flower color is white. So whenever A is present in its dominant form, it will produce a red phenotype. So whenever A is present, A and B is present in a dominant form, it will produce a red phenotype. And F2 generation also, out of 16, 15 are red and 1 is white. Which one is white? That where small a and capital small b is present. That means both of the A and B genes are present in a homozygous recessive condition. So we get this kind of ratio. Like if one of one of A among this A and B, if one A or one B is dominant, then also the phenotypic progeny is dominant. So that means in this whole checkerboard, every plant except this one, where both of the genes are in a homozygous recessive condition, either of the gene having minimum one dominant A or dominant B. That is why whenever a dominant gene is present, the trait is expressed, one allele is sufficient to produce the pigment. So one allele is sufficient to produce the pigment. So how you will how you are able to get the what type of gene interactions are there? For that purpose, you have to look at the ratios. If one gene involved in the trait, then monohybrid phenotypic ratio is the 3:1 or 1:2:1. If two genes are involved in the trait, then the dihybrid phenotypic ratio is 9:3:1, or in some uh, so, in some exceptional cases, they are 9:4:3, 9:7, or 12:3:1. The 1 by 15, or the 1 by 16 plus 1 among the 16 is always the double homologous recessive, like this one. They are the double homologous recessive. Look for internal 3:1 ratios, which will indicate dominance recessive relation for the allele within the gene. Like two gene, one phenotype. In two gene, one phenotype, you can tell the genotype caused by more than one gene because there are four phenotypes, not three. In complementary gene action, there are only two phenotypes, not four or three. In epistasis, one gene can mask the effect of another. In recessive cases, you will get three phenotypes, but the ratio is 9:3:4. And in dominant cases, there also you will get three phenotypes, but the ratio is 12:3:4. So just look into the ratio. In case of recessive one, the recessive part of the number is getting changed. And in case of dominant one, dominant part of the number is getting changed. So in case of duplicate gene, the ratio is 1:15. Only double mutant has that phenotype. So variation in Mendelian genetics, here also it is shown in a nicely manner, whether additive, complementary, recessive, dominant, or duplicate genes in each and every cases, the variation is showing here in this checkerboard. So now we come to the inhibitory gene action. In this case of epistasis, the dominant gene at one locus can mark the expression of both allele at the second locus. So in one locus, if a dominant allele is present, that allele is sufficient to mark the expression of both the dominant and recessive allele at the second locus. This is also known as inhibitory gene action. That means what the dominant allele is actually inhibiting the effect of the second gene. An example of this type is a gene interaction is found for anthocyanin pigmentation in rice. The green color of plant is governed by the gene 1, which is dominant over purple color. The purple color is controlled by dominant gene P. When crossed, it is made between capital I, small p, and small I, capital P. The color plants in the F1 generation was green. Intimidating of F1 plant produced green and purple plant in 13:3 ratio in F. So this is the ratio. You please go through this checker box and you need to explain this ratio to me in our interactive classes. So this is the end of our today's session, and this is the end of our Mendelian and classical genetics approach also. And we will discuss the different kinds of problem and questions in our interactive classes. So thank you for today.